After 2 years of negotiations, the United States, together with our international partners, has achieved something that decades of animosity has not: a comprehensive long-term deal with Iran that will prevent it from obtaining a nuclear weapon. This deal demonstrates that American diplomacy can bring about real and meaningful change that makes our country and the world safer and more secure. Last night, on my orders, America's armed forces began strikes against ISIL targets in Syria. Today, at my direction, the United States launched a targeted operation against that compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan.
They did what?
Today, I authorized the armed forces of the United States to begin a limited military action in Libya. Because
Libya? Oh, shit, I ain't never heard of Libya.
To our national security, they can take the diplomatic...
So at the end of the day, the question all it comes down to is y'all really mad at the strikes, or is y'all just mad at the person who did it? Because Obama did the same goddamn thing, but we didn't hear nobody talking about he bombed the country and shit. He didn't bomb no fucking body. These are military operations that go on throughout our country. This is why we have a military, the armed forces, the Marines, and all this shit, and have all this equipment that's worth billions of dollars. This is what this is for, to do stuff like this, operations.
It is.
Where you think they came up with the game Call of Duty? Like, y'all liberals think y'all slick though, but best believe though, I'm on y'all ass all day though.
The liberals think they slick. They literally had us in here like it's panicking a little bit.
I'm not. I mean, he hit the nail on the head. They're not mad at the strikes. They're just mad that Trump did it. They thought, oh, World War III, oh, Trump. But like at the end of the day, a country like Iran cannot get bombs. They get nuclear bombs at that. It's one thing if they get nuclear energy, that's justifiable. But a uranium enrichment facility is only used for bombs. We cannot have that.
And it's been multiple countries in the Middle East. When I seen them saluting President Trump, I said, oh, well then Trump had to do this.
Yeah, but it's like, it is the who, because the same thing with the deportations. Obama deported more. He talked about deportation the same way Trump does. That was the excuse they used. They said, well, it's the way Trump talks about it. Well, Obama talked about it the same way. Now, 26,000 bombs in 1 year versus 36, and still a problem.
This is one of those times where politicians sound like hypocrites, because Mark Kelly is right. Presidents should get congressional approval, but there have been a bunch of presidents who have ordered strikes without congressional approval. Barack Obama did it against Libya. Joe Biden ordered strikes in Iraq and Syria without congressional approval. Bill Clinton did it to, Kosovo, I think you pronounce it. So presidents ordering military action without congressional approval has become pretty routine. So is it always a thing when they do it? I'm just asking. I don't know.
No. Well, this is where those articles of impeachment come up, and that's why House Democrat Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she actually says that President Trump's decision to strike Iran could lead to impeachment.
So why didn't I'm just saying? So why didn't it lead to impeachment for everybody else? Like when Barack Obama did it, when Biden did it,
but
when
it
Clinton
has,
did it?
you know, not that it necessarily. Well, the people in Congress or congressional members will call for it. Does it necessarily mean that that they'll move forward with the impeachment process? Not necessarily, but there have been times in the past that these congressional members have called for impeachment of the president. Because of their military actions or actions that they've taken with the military without having that congressional.
It hasn't been this much backlash.
Yeah, I don't even remember
Trump.
hearing about it during the Joe Biden administration.
But I guess that's because the way Trump has been moving. But we haven't heard about it when Obama did it. We didn't hear about it when Biden did it.
I do remember when Obama did it. When Obama did it, I do remember. People in Congress saying he needed congressional approval and they were making it a thing. I don't remember the Biden thing at all. I don't remember that even making a headline.
I was going to say I don't recall, but people were very upset about the way that he. That went without that. People were very upset about the way that he withdrew from Afghanistan. I mean, that was certainly a thing as well. I mean, they were it was a thing.
Yeah, the only reason I know about Biden because I read an article on NBC News last night that was literally about this. It was the headline was "Presidents ordering military action without congressional approval has become routine," and it talked about Biden citing Article Number 2 in the Constitution, which makes the president commander in chief. And I guess basically saying he don't need congressional approval. And that's when he ordered the strikes in Iraq and Syria.
I mean, you would think something top secret like this that has to be done quietly, you wouldn't want everybody to know. Have you seen that picture of them with, was it Ilhan Omar, and then they were like, they're glad that they didn't know? Have y'all seen that shit?
But
that's just hilarious.
I mean, I remember this dude went on TV the other day and was like, Trump didn't even tell us. Like, why would he tell y'all? Y'all would have leaked it to the media. Y'all would have probably tried to tell Iran.
Hey guys, we're gonna go do a military strike in 3 days.
You know, it had Ilhan Omar.
Keep it a secret, everyone.
It had AOC, and they were all sad. And they were like, why would they tell y'all? Y'all some extremists. Y'all might have linked the shit.
They would.
Some soldiers might would have got injured if they knew.
That's probably exactly why they have to do it without congressional approval now, because you can't trust all the people in the Congress to keep it,
Facts.
under wraps.
There's no
Facts.
bipartisanship in our government.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says the president shouldn't be impeached because he's impulsive. What do you think of that?
No, I mean, of course, no. She knows it. I know it. We all know it. That's not going anywhere. And, he's been impeached twice, and now he's still our president as well now, too. So it's not going anywhere, and I don't think that's helpful. And I think if you throw that term around, that actually diminishes what the severity of what impeachment is really reserved for.
AOC is calling for Trump to be impeached. That's really highly unlikely, isn't it, Colson?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, again, with her, so stupid, so ridiculous. All this is just, trying to say something to get on TV or have a soundbite that gets carried in media. The Democrats didn't say anything when Barack Obama launched airstrikes against Libya, when Barack Obama launched airstrikes against Syria. They did nothing. They were quiet. They cheered him on, so on and so forth. The president of the United States does have constitutional authority for strikes when it comes to military force. That's why they're the commander in chief. And so a lot of colleagues on Capitol Hill, they're talking about the War Powers Act. But the War Powers Act is something that's been litigated in court time and time again, and it does not obstruct a president of the United States from using military assets when they are in the key national interest. And I will add, one of the things that is crystal clear is that the Iranians were trying to actually create nuclear weapons. There's a reason why they have a ballistic missiles weapon systems. There's a reason why they were trying to create ICBMs. And that was simply not to just have things they can light off as fireworks in the sky above the skies of Tehran. They wanted it to be able to flex their power in that region and around the globe. And since they are a terror factory, that is a fact, we simply could not let that happen.
Donald Trump and his actions, which do not appear to be consistent with the United States Constitution, takes unilateral offensive military action without seeking the approval of the United States Congress. The use of military force, which is offensive in nature, must be approved by the House and the Senate. That's according to the Constitution. It's not optional. Donald, it's not.
Donald. I hate this dude, bro.
The framers of the Constitution actually gave Congress the power to declare war for a reason. So the American people, through their elected representatives, would have the opportunity to debate the issue and make some decisions as it relates to what's in the best interest and the national security of the American people. Donald Trump and the administration chose to ignore the Constitution. And so they're going to have to come before Congress and explain their justification for an offensive military strike against Iran.
I just got one question, buddy. Which was more important, Ukraine or Iran? I'm pretty sure it's Iran.
I'm just lost at why they think we should just sit by and let Iran develop nukes. Like, y'all want to...
That's insane.
This is a terror hotbed of all terrorist proxies that we've seen in the last 20 years, and we should just let them have nukes.
Bro, did y'all see that video of the guy that's from Iran?
So I'm about to show y'all a video of an Iranian man and what he has to say about the evil regime and how they are in support of what Israel is doing and taking out this evil Islamic regime in Iran.
What's up, my people? Just wanted to share with y'all that the Islamic regime in Iran, the Islamic government, shut down the internet for over 12 hours right now, so we haven't heard anything of our families and friends. And remember, this is not America, this is not Israel doing this. This is a fucking government in Iran. This is an Islamic regime. And y'all wonder why we hate them? They've been doing this to my people for 47 years. We are worried for the political prisoners. We are worried for our regular people because we think that since they're losing the war to Israel, they might just take their fucking revenge on our own people. And y'all wonder why we hate them? Why my people are cheering on Israel to bomb them? And then we do have some people that come to us and ask us, why are you happy that Israel is bombing Iran? Israel is not bombing Iran. Israel is bombing IRGC and the Islamic regime, their bases, their members. And yes, my people love that. My people hate the government. We've been trying to take them down for 46 years and they killed us. They killed us so many fucking times. They killed our kids. So don't fucking tell us that bullshit.
So maybe now y'all understand that Israel is not bombing the people. Y'all just heard it out of his own mouth what bases that Israel is bombing and
PBD said the same thing, but he said no one there likes the regime. They are bad to the people there.
They said that the regime has taken them backwards.
I worked for an anti-war president, and I saw. No, he was. He ran against.
How many countries did you bomb the crap out of?
Well, that's what I'm going to say.
Lord
Scott.
have mercy.
Like no, like you guys didn't just use bombs for diplomacy.
But
do you want
to put the scorecards up against each other?
I'm
between
happy
bombs
to put
and
up
drones?
scorecards.
You all are the key. Literally.
I got lots of scorecards.
The continuity that work in both parties. If both parties have the continuity.
They wasn't trying to hear none of the fact that she said Obama was anti-war. Obama was the king of drone strikes, the king of deportations, the king of really everything.
Did she work for Obama? Did he say that?
Yeah, former Obama aide.
Oh wow, yes. Come on, man.
She was, bro.
That's
he was
the one
the
president.
king of sending strikes.
Just one president you can't say that for.
It was Trump that got us out of Afghanistan.
They did call Schumer, and I know they talked to him, and they tried to call Jeffries, who apparently didn't pick up the phone. So I know some calls were made. Look, one of the ways to keep things from leaking is to not tell a bunch of people who leak. And so, I'm sensitive to this.
The Gang of Eight.
This is a pretty sensitive operation. There was a lot of misdirection. There was a lot of stuff going on here.
It's a close hold.
I know, and they
It's
called
generally a
they called Schumer, and they tried to call Jeffries, and they told the Republicans. And look, we're not going to debate this in an open committee hearing when we're on a tight time window. You got bombers going one way, bombers going another way. I mean, this thing had to be held airtight. And that's what they did, and it worked perfectly.
Executed perfectly. That's what tax dollars, this is tax dollars well at use.
Now, here's where I get frustrated because once again, here's the novice that's a centrist that comes into play and he's listening to all of this stuff. And here's where I get infuriated. The Democrats are calling, or at least some of them, are calling for the impeachment of Donald Trump. Same old song and dance. Thought we heard this before. I thought that was over and done with. The minute you lost the election with the popular vote in the electoral college vote and losing every swing state. I thought we were over that. But evidently not. Question number one. No matter what you feel about the President of the United States, do you think that's the time, while we're in the middle of such strife, to be calling for the impeachment of the President of the United States? Particularly if you're a representative, you're an elected official in the United States of America? I don't think so. That's number one. Number two, were the Democrats saying that when Obama bombed Libya? When he was in office? We're making all of this noise about how the War Powers Act is utilized and how Donald Trump didn't receive congressional approval. Well, this is not an act of war. This is eradicating a threat. Civilians weren't targeted. Nuclear sites were targeted. So if nuclear sites were targeted, but no civilians were targeted, then that's not a war. At least not yet. Which means that you can navigate your way around the War Powers Act itself, and you don't have to concern yourself with receiving congressional approval. The Democrats know that because of Obama. So if you knew that because of Obama and you didn't say it when it involved him in Libya, why would you turn around and all of a sudden try to make that case against Donald Trump?
Just put the hat on, Stephen A.
Stephen A. know what he wants.
Put the hat on.
Stephen A. understands that the party that he supported his whole life is just full of shit. Like the once the narrative is flipped and they don't have control, they have to cry wolf every time something's bad, cry fire every time something the other side does something. And at what point is he gonna point out the obvious that that's exactly what's going on?
Just look at him, y'all.
I don't like him.
Just
I don't
take
either.
a
I do
real
not like this
good
man.
look at this
He
man.
is a nerd.
And think about him And think about Cory Booker. They just don't seem like they're very bright, man. I'm just being real. The way he talks and the way Cory Booker stood up there.
He sounds like he's whining when he talks.
For 24 hours.
He doesn't speak with confidence.
Yeah, bro. He doesn't seem like a leader, bro. Come on, man.
He's not the one. If that is who their candidate will be?
Hell no. They can't run him. He'll
Bro,
never win.
Think
He
about
has
it.
no
You're a
aura.
man, right, buddy?
Zero.
And they're saying somebody like AOC has a better chance than you, buddy. You should actually just take off your suit forever, bro.
And you're the leader of the party, technically.
He's a square.
And now you're trying to put AOC, a bartender, above you, bro?
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have called into question the constitutionality of Donald Trump's actions. He bypassed Congress, potentially violated the War Powers Resolution. I believe this is certainly a clear violation of international law, at the very least. Democratic House Leader Hakeem Jeffries accused the president of misleading the country as to his intentions. What do you think are the possible ramifications that President Trump could face for arguably overstepping his authority?
Well, look, constitutionally, only Congress has the power to declare war. The War Powers Act would make it seem very clear you need to have congressional approval on this. But president after president after president has launched military action without the approval of Congress.
Yeah.
And Congress, under Democratic and Republican leadership, has complained the president is violating the War Powers Act. This is not new. I mean, I go back. I covered Bill Clinton and the military strikes against Kosovo back in 1999. Again.
That's why I think it's more of an international law violation.
But you know, look, it's a Republican Congress right now. I don't think he's not getting any blowback from within his own party, with the exception of Tom Massie.
So what's the good of having it then if they all violate it?
Well, that's a great question. I mean,
we've been using the 2003 AUMF to authorize every military strike in about 25 years. So Congress can't be feckless and then be mad when they don't like the outcome.
Yeah, so that was after 9/11. Congress passed this authorization of military force against. It was supposed to be against Afghanistan.
Yeah.
For harboring Al Qaeda, and it has been used over and over and over and over.
Yeah, those ladies are absolutely brainless.
They're absolutely stupid. They want everything to go in their favor, and they keep getting checked. They've been checked by the last 3 guests they've had on. Arnold Schwarzenegger, this guy. Who else was on there before? I don't know. My brain is fried every
They
time
tried
I
to
watch
get Stephen
this.
A. one time.
Yeah, they just keep getting checked. They can't control the narrative, and it's falling apart.
What do you think of Whoopi Goldberg saying it's worse to be a black person in America today than a woman in Iran?
My district in the great state of Texas is actually a white majority district that President Trump would have won by 25 points. As I said, I'm a direct descendant of a slave. My great-great-grandfather was born on a Rosedale plantation. I am literally being judged not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. That's the progress, because, like, a lot of white people had to vote for me. A lot.
So
I don't even ever want to hear Whoopi Goldberg's conversation about how it's worse to be black in America right now. That's a bit far. And my father, who's 75 years old, he was a man that was in the French quarters that had to go get a sandwich to the back door of the building. And his son is now a United States congressman in a white majority district in Texas as a Republican. That is America. That's America.
What do you think of Whoopi Goldberg?
I ain't gonna lie, man. Every time I see a clip of Wesley, he cooked.
Wesley and Byron both.
I'm not gonna lie. I saw Wesley get on here, and the dude sitting to his left was trying to tell him that he as a combat veteran, as a veteran, doesn't know what he's talking about. He tried to say, well, why does all the military hate Trump? He said, how you gonna tell me? And I'm a serviceman. I served. I was like, man, Wesley, man, he's one of the rock stars in the Republican Party, y'all.
Yeah. We interviewed Wesley and Byron, y'all, about a year ago exactly.
That was a year ago.
See, until all the receipts started dropping, we was acting like chickens with our head cut off, basically.
Because we were scared to go to war.
I
And
ain't
because
gonna
of
lie,
like Tucker,
it was definitely
and a lot of
concerning.
Republicans were.
I'm gonna keep it 100. It was concerning, but at the end of the day, I trust Trump. You know, I've trusted Trump this long. I trust him still. I made it pretty clear that that's where I stand. You know, as I'm not gonna be one of the people that panic off rip. I might say what I think off rip, but I ain't panicking, bro. We gotta let the situation play out.
Yeah, everybody was panicking, guys, and looks like this has been going on forever. I mean, hey, man. Another,
We'll be all right.
Another W. I know we was like, man, maybe this finna be a Trump L.
Hey, trust the system. That's why football, they say trust the head coach, trust the system.